This is going to absolutely blow up the headline to a whole nother proportion. E4, E5, knight f3, knight c6. Gukesh, the typical, you know, he was meditating, he was zen. Bishop b5, knight f6, d3. Magnus rejects the Berlin, bishop c5, and now Magnus plays knight c3. This is not a common move. He goes here, he takes, and he offers a bishop trade to his young opponent. And then when his young opponent declines the bishop trade, he goes bishop g5. There's going to be nothing tactical in the position. We're going to play positionally. I'm going to play bishop g4 and take. He was like, well, I'm just uber solid. Uber solid. I have, you know, no obvious weaknesses. Now, there is one major weakness in the black position. One. f5. Now, you could also argue, you know, this pawn is kind of weak with this knight here. That's not really. It's f5. And the dynamic is going to be knight versus bishop. In fact, Magnus here gives away the bishop for the knight because he just wants a game of knight versus bishop. This is like chess. If you ever looked at a chess game from the 1930s, this is what they looked like. Okay, Magnus plays g3, h4. This is a very common type of setup, especially in some openings like the Sveshnikov Sicilian, where you have a bishop, it wants to come out, you don't let it come out. Gukesh repositions the bishop to c5. Magnus plays king g2, knight e2. You can't take here because we have rook b1, and now g4. Magnus wants to put the knight on the f5 square. I was watching this and I was like, there's not enough here to beat the reigning world champ. But Gukesh is fighting, man. He plays g6, knight g3, and you talk about underdogs. Look at the rating difference. You know what I mean? Being 2880 in the world in Blitz is not easy. There's not a lot of people to farm. Rook h1, rook d8. Gukesh, though, Gukesh, to his credit, fighting the entire time. King g7, and Magnus here stumbles into an endgame proposition and plays knight back to f1. And Gukesh is back in the game, man. You give him anything. You have, look at the position that you have in front of you now. But Gukesh does this, and this literal one move allows Magnus to play rook h3, and Gukesh here thinks that he has to trade because the knight is going to move, and then he's going to play, you know, the double attack. And I think Gukesh just basically was like, I'm out of time. Magnus is going to go knight g3, you can't take because of check, and then I win the rook. And if Magnus gets the doubled rooks on this file, Gukesh just assumed that he was going to lose. Actually, not really. Maybe not. But he trades, and now this endgame is totally winning for white. Why is it totally winning? Knight absolutely dominates the bishop, hits every single target. Black's pawn structure is completely immobile. White is going to walk over the king, and Gukesh tries to roll the dice. Magnus, clinical, walks the king out a little bit, grabs as many pawns as possible, infiltrates on the 7th rank. When Magnus played this move, he screwed it in. I watched him. He moved it, and then he screwed it on the board, and I was like, damn. And Gukesh went here and resigned.